I've learned more from Elvis, my beagle puppy, in the last roughly year and a half than I have from probably hundreds of personal development books that I've read. When I first got Elvis, we adopted him from an animal charity in Northern Ireland, and I had this expectation of what puppies were going to be like because of looking at thousands of videos that Katie had shown me of these perfect puppies being perfect. And when I got home with Elvis, he pooed on the floor. So we had this expectation. The reality was very different. And that's the secret to happiness, managing expectation versus reality. So that was such a lesson for me. It helped me open up to the reality that he was, rather than the stories and the meaning of what I thought it was going to mean. That's one. Second is that made me furious and really angry. So when Elvis didn't do and live up to the expectation that I had, I felt the resistance within me. Anger was created, and I've never met anger before in my body. I hadn't ever felt it or expressed it. It's one of those emotions that I struggled to hold. He brought it out in me. And what I realized is Elvis is this perfect little dog. He's just doing dog things, but I was the one that was bringing the anger. So to be able to manage that story, to be able to manage those emotions within me, in conversation, you could say, or in the interaction with life and reality and the people around you and the work that you do, we bring those emotions to the thing. Those things are just doing things, right? Elvis is just doing dog things. I was bringing the emotions to it. So that's the second thing. So first is that expectation versus reality, the story we tell about the things versus the reality instead of just opening up to it. The second is that we bring emotions to those situations as well. The third thing though with Elvis is, no matter who he meets, he is always happy to see them. He doesn't bring any of those stories or expectations. He's just so open to everybody he encounters. And it is beautiful to watch. It's amazing when his tail is wagging when he's meeting a stranger or a new dog and he's stood waiting for the other dog to greet him. It's such a lesson to us that most of the depression and anxiety that's caused in us at the moment at scale globally, you can learn about this in Lost Connections by Johann Hari. He says it's because we're disconnected from ourselves, from other people, and from meaningful work and a meaningful purpose and a brighter future vision. Elvis helps me understand that actually we're just all seeking connection in other people and that's okay. And so we need to reconnect after COVID, after lockdown, after being deprived and isolated from other people. We need to reconnect. We need to find communities and people to be part of. That's why I try and spend time bringing people together, because we need to be in relationship and in conversation with each other. But the last thing, and this is only recently that I learned from Elvis, is I pay attention to some kind of macro themes and challenges and problems, wicked problems they're termed as, that are really difficult for me to hold. But also I know that there's some of the challenges that people like you and me and everybody else are told and sold in the media. Things like climate change and supply chain issues and all these kind of challenges. And I'd been listening to a lot of that one day and I felt heavy mentally and emotionally because of it, because it was really heavy, it was really hard. But I saw Elvis, we were playing fetch in the back garden, and I don't play fetch with him that often, but I'm glad that I did that night, because in response to doom and gloom and the world ending and fish supplies running out in a couple of years and all this kind of stuff, seeing Elvis run towards me so happy that he had got the stick that I had thrown for him, I got so emotional. I almost cried, but I definitely shed a tear. And what it taught me, and this is the most profound lesson, I got emotional trying to think about this video, is that the greatest response to death, the greatest response to doom or negativity is the celebration and the openness and the gratitude for the life that we have, the moment that's in front of us, not the stories that we're told, but the life that's in front of us, the experience that we're currently having. And so opening to that, shedding the tear, such a great moment and such a great lesson. So there's some of the things that I've learned from Elvis recently.